Hi, and thank you for another episode of Absolutely Bookkeeping Podcast. I'm joined today by Joyce. So, Joyce, can you tell us a little bit about your bookkeeping business and the type of clients you work with? And introduce yourself, of course.
Yeah. Hi, Natasha. I'm Joyce O'Leary. I have been working for my own practice since 2002. I used to work part-time in my own practice alongside working for a firm of accountants. So that's how I started out on my own. And then if we roll forward to 2017, I stopped working for the accountancy practice and completely work for myself, offering bookkeeping and payroll services for startups and small companies. Small, medium-sized companies. So, and payroll for any company up to 100 employees, I'm able to take on. And then I do a little bit of training as well. But I have found that a lot of the clients I get, I've gone in to train them and then ended up doing the bookkeeping myself. So, yeah. And I work with a few accountants. So, yeah.
So going back, how did you actually get into bookkeeping years ago? Was it something that you wanted to do when you left school, or was it just sort of you fell into the trade, so to speak?
No, fell into it. I used to go to, I was going to college for hospitality, but my older sister was my lecturer, and it really didn't bode well because the night before college, I was typing up the notes for our lesson the next day. So it really didn't work. So I got a temporary job as a purchase ledger clerk, as it was called in those days, working for a local company, and then moved on to another temporary position, which then included sales ledger. So just that was where the recruitment agencies were putting me. And then I got offered a job as an accounts assistant, very what we would now call as an apprentice, I suppose. And I just worked through there, then various companies, and eventually I got made redundant quite a few times. But every time I got made redundant, I got a better job, which was really exciting. And then my final job that I got made redundant from, the accountant for that company offered me a job running their payrolls. So, and that I didn't look back from there. So that I went in to work for them. Then they gave me a bit of bookkeeping to do. Then we found out that the payroll person couldn't do the bookkeeping and the payroll because there was over 100 payrolls and there was about 50 bookkeeping clients, and you just couldn't do it all. One person couldn't do it all. It was too much at month end. So we just changed my work around, and I fell into payroll, found payroll was my passion. And through the help of that accountancy firm, I became a full member of the CIPP. And then encouraged by one of the accountants there, I became a full member of the IAB, but both through work experience. I'm one of these, you put a test in front of me, I'm gone.
Yeah.
I'm not out of 10. Yeah. So
I'm totally
qualified by experience, and do get quite defensive sometimes when you hear people saying that you should only be working if you've got the exams and the qualifications. I really feel it needs to be a mixture of both, because you can't just go off and get the exams then do the job. You need the work experience. So
I agree. Yes. So what's the one word that you would describe your relationship with technology in your business?
Comfortable.
Cool. I like that. I haven't heard that one yet, so that's good. Okay, so we're going on to your favorites now. So what is the Apple software you simply couldn't run your business without?
Sage accounting. Sage desktop, only because they've what I've used. I know, especially the desktop, I know it inside out. I can picture it in my mind when I'm, if someone phones me up and asks me to do something, I can picture the screens in my mind. now Sage Accounting, the little extras that they're putting onto it, it's making me like it even more. I had a bit of an upset with Sage, which I think you may have seen my post about that. But I am now back feeling very comfortable with them. Yeah.
So how did you first discover it? Was it sort of like a game changer from day one, or was it kind of a slow burner, or an up and down kind of thing till you found happy medium with it?
No, it was day one. So I used to work for a fruit distribution company, and they used Sage. And it just happened to be that every single company I went to work for as a temp or anything was using Sage. So that's just what I was. And then when I started working part-time for myself, the accountancy firm suggested that I get an account with Sage. So I then became an accounting partner with Sage, and still got an account nearly 30 years later with them.
Wow. So what kind of problems does obviously Sage for you? Obviously, do you use all the products from Sage? So do you use like Autoentry, Go Proposal, or is it just Sage Desktop, or is it the new Sage for Accountants Cloud version?
So I use Sage Desktop, like Sage 50, use Sage Desktop Payroll, because one of the services I offer is emergency payroll cover for accountants, and they tend to use Sage 50 Payroll. I use Accounting, the new free software that they do for MTD filing tax returns, and I use Autoentry, but I do not use I do not use Go Proposal. So, and the other bits and pieces, I don't use all the reports and everything because I don't do all those. That's what the accountant does. So, yeah.
So what would be a normal day's use of it? Would it be like you receive your purchase invoices and everything through Autoentry, then that gets pushed through to your Sage?
Right, depends on the client. So generally, I do a lot of one-off annual jobs. So the client will turn up with their reminders. I scan all the invoices into Autoentry and then let those publish them. Then I'll because I'm still finding a few people are not quite confident with the bank feed. So I'll upload the bank statements in, let Sage work its magic, and about 2 hours later I'll go in and match the payments down against the invoice once I've published them. I do have some clients that will send them directly into Autoentry for me. And then the others, I just pop into Sage myself because some of them are like 4 invoices a month. So it's not, it's too small to have it done.
Do you think using Sage has helped you scale, save time, or even keep your personal sanity?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Huge. It saved me hours because I've been able to automate things for some clients. I've got one client who it used to take 3 hours to do their sales invoices every month, and they were exactly the same invoice, exactly the same amount, just recurring. Now that's all been set up, all happens automatically, and it saved me 3 hours a month. So
wow. Do you see any common mistakes that other bookkeepers have when they use kind of like Sage? I mean, we're talking about, do you see like, oh, I can't do this, but is it the question that the fact that they're not actually understanding the software, they haven't taken time to learn its quirks and things like that? What common mistakes have you noticed that people tend to say they have when about using it?
Well, they say that they can't correct entries that have been reconciled on accounting when you can. They've also said that you can't, the one person I've spoken to said you can't reconcile the supplier statements and things like that. But I think what the problem is because all the softwares are pretty similar, and you can, if you've got a little bit of experience, you can generally use all the softwares, but you can't use them all to the best of their ability unless you have been trained. So I generally feel it's training. It's oh well, you can only do a bank feed. No, you can import spreadsheets and stuff like that. So
if you had a magic wand and you could change just one thing about it, what would you improve, or are you happy with the way that it runs for you now?
I personally am happy with the way it runs for me now. Actually, no, I tell big fat lies. With the year end, with the year end on desktop, you close it down and then you move on. With the year end for accounting, as soon as you put that date in, it just doesn't feel final to me. So I'd like there to be a button that you tick and say year end complete. It just doesn't feel it's too easy.
Too easy.
Yeah.
Would you recommend it to all bookkeepers out there, or is it kind of a certain type of practitioner that it's best for certain type of clients, or do you think it's a kind of a universal software?
I think it's universal, and I think all the softwares come down to personal choice. They all do the same thing at the end of the day, and it is just down to personal choice and cost as well.
Have you paired with any other tools or apps to kind of supercharge it? Is there any other things other than Sage that you've paired it to actually get it working for the best of your practice and your clients?
Yeah, so I've used, I've got a couple of clients on Xero, and I find that I didn't get on so well with Xero, and I don't get on as well with Xero as I do with Sage, for example. I find it easier to make a correction in Sage than I do in Xero, for example. So if the way I do it now, I suppose the way to answer your question is, if a client contacts me and says they particularly want their bookkeeping done on a certain software, then I'll do it on a certain software. But if a client says to me, I really don't care what you do it on as long as you do it, I will either do it on a spreadsheet or I will do it on Sage desktop.
Perfect. We're going to switch it up a bit now. So apart from Sage, what are your other 3 top software or apps that you go to? What's your other 3 top ones?
Payroll is MoneySoft. Desktop version, they only do it desktop, but I've got a lovely IT man that has made my laptop and my computer speak to each other, so it's like cloud for me. So that's great. The other one is Client Engager, which I use as my CRM. And then I suppose that's it. So I know you said 3, but I've only got 2.
But then you've got quite a few apps underneath the Sage umbrella that you use, such as, like you've mentioned, Autoentry. So that could be part of
Autoentry.
So with your apps, how often do you review them? Do you have a specific time when you review them, or do you review them if you have an issue with a client getting that information from A to B, or is it something that you said every so often, I am going to review my app stack?
Well, recently it's been whenever I've seen you put a post on LinkedIn, if I'm completely honest, to say I've just done this. But, but normally it's just a cost thing, I find. You know, there are issues with all the softwares. Don't get me wrong. No one's 100% perfect, but I just review it. So, but I haven't had to change anything for the last 6 months. So.
That's positive then.
Yeah.
We're talking about when you go to events. What is your best advice for bookkeepers who feel overwhelmed by all of the software options out there? Now, you and I attend many events. We've seen so many different softwares that solve so many problems, but it is very overwhelming. What is the best tip or advice you can give bookkeepers out there at the moment?
At the moment is don't take it personally when they turn around and say, oh, you're a bookkeeper, we're not going to help you. Because if they say that to you, that answer is right. I don't want to give that software company my business. And as you know, through Bookkeepers Detox, Jen and I have both walked away from partnerships with software companies because they've gone, oh, you're just a bookkeeper, you're too small for us. So don't take it personally. Just don't give them your business. So that's my main top tip.
Good advice.
Go with a bit of paper with a clear plan of what you want to achieve. So you want a new auto entry sort of company, or you want to save money, or you're literally just going to see the people behind the software that you use.
Yeah. So, good advice. We come to the final section of our interview. So this is a quick fire round. So I'm going to ask you some quick questions. So iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
Xero, QuickBooks or Sage?
Sage.
Coffee or tea?
Tea.
What is the one piece of tech or business wisdom you wish you'd known at the start of your business rather than now?
That you can do it on your phone.
And finally, what app do you think is a little underrated and deserves a lot more love?
Don't know. Can't answer that. I can't think of one.
No, that's fine. I mean, obviously, you've mentioned some key ones there. So you've got MoneySoft, you've got Engager, you've got the Sage umbrella of groups. So, I mean, all of those, obviously, some of those aren't kind of like normal ones that people select. They always go for Xero or QuickBooks is kind of like the common ones. But I think Sage is catching up with them, or even actually trumping them in some of the ways. So, I mean, I think we could say in this case probably that because you've championed Sage today, that maybe that's the one that needs a little bit more love and a little more shouting about in this case.
Possibly because it is the one that people say to me, "Oh, I don't like Sage." So
no, that's brilliant. So thank you very much for your time today, and thanks for joining me. And thanks for
everything. You're welcome.
Okay, and just want to mention, Joyce is part of the Bookkeepers Detox, and you can find them if you just type in any search boxes in social media. You'll find more about them, or just find Joyce as well. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Natasha.